Alright, attempt number 2. This time I don't have my audio muted. I don't know if it really affects this particular speedrun to have muted audio, but most of the time they don't want you having muted audio, so yeah, let's restart. I'll probably download the VOD from Twitch for everything. You like the glasses? Thanks. Alright. I could do mirror if I wanted to. Maybe I'll do that to be fun next time, but... Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Tour Paris Promenade. Alright. Oh. It's not the path I meant to take. Oh well. I'll do it on the next lap. And I forgot to take it on this lap. Whoops. I'm so used to going this way that the new path that I found that I think is a little bit faster. I think it's faster. I'm not used to taking. I just kind of went into autopilot. I'll take it here. Alright. One track down. 47 more to go. Thankfully, there's not really a path to mess up here. This track is pretty straightforward. I'm actually surprised I got as much sleep as I did last night, considering I went to bed right after getting back from watching Iron Lung. That movie is not for the faint of heart by the end of it. Holy shit, did it get bloody and gory. And I mean, bloody, it better be. Ocean of Blood is kind of part of the game, but It gets all psychedelic and it's awesome. If I had one complaint, I think it could have been just a little bit shorter, but it was one of those movies that was in a very small set. Whoops! I accidentally screwed up my splits there. Okay, whatever. I'll just keep this going all the way through Coconut Mall. I messed up my splits on my last one and they still accepted it, so I don't think they really care as much about splits. Oh man, missed my trick. Now, it feels so weird playing a more traditional Choco Mountain after getting used to Mario Kart World's Choco Mountain, because they do something completely different with it. I'm trying to think about what I'm going to do to wrap up the stream when I get done, because I know for a fact this is not going to take me my whole 4 hours that I try to dedicate to a stream. Might go back to my usual stream ender and play a little Battleship, because it's always a fun little thing to play for a little while. But I don't know. We'll see. Honestly, if I'm being honest with this version of Coconut Mall, visually speaking, I find it a little too bright. I liked the more muted colors of the Wii version. Here, the colors are very vibrant. And there's nothing against vibrant. It's just, I'm used to Coconut Mall not having vibrant colors. Because even in Mario Kart 7, which had some pretty vibrant tracks, Coconut Mall still had its dull colors. Alright. That should fix my splits. Is this Tokyo Blur? I knew it was a tour track, I just couldn't remember which one. This one I actually played during my warm-up, so that's great. I wish that there was an option when you select random track to delegate it only to the base game or only to the DLC, so that when I'm, you know, warming myself up for a speedrun in one of those categories, the DLC, as for example, is all that I play. Because I had, I think, about half and half base game DLC, which is fine. It's good warm-up regardless, but I'm not playing any base game tracks today, aside from my warm-up. Boing. Believe next to Shroom Ridge, if I'm reading that right. Yep. Just so naturally into the drifting of this track. Definitely a Mario Kart DS track, considering how much I'm drifting. Anyone who knows their Mario Kart understands why I'm saying that. Mario Kart DS was where drifting was at its best. In some games, Mario Kart DS tracks don't even feel as good to drift on because the drifting isn't as good. Ow. Hello. Welcome to the stream. What the fuck? There's just like this loud vibrating coming from outside. I wonder if someone in a really big truck passed by or something. That was weird. Hits the car. Controversial take, apparently, but I actually really like this interpretation of Sky Garden. A lot of people didn't like it because it cut out a turn or something. I'm just like, okay, so it cut out a turn. I still love to see Sky Garden return at all. It's not the only GBA track to get that argument too. My favorite track in Super Circuit came back during the DLC, and it also cut out a turn, and people were like, "Oh, how could you?" Wasn't the only complaint about it though. I think the other complaint was a little bit more valid, but okay, my trick didn't register both times for some reason. Bye. Whoops. That went horribly awry. Next is Ninja Hideaway, which is just a really fun track. I did not know you could drive over the koi pond there. Ah, I lowered it just the wrong time. Didn't get enough air. Ooh, almost hit him. There we go. That should be enough air. No, it's not. Damn it. Heck yeah, top route. Oh, New York Minute, another tour track. I'm doing the exact same format I did last time because they did allow me to do my speedrun like this. So I was worried they weren't going to accept it because of the format I did it in, but they accepted it, so took them a fucking month. Another hot take. I actually like this interpretation of the track. A lot of people were not happy that it's just Mario Circuit 3 and they didn't really do anything special with it. And they long since made up for that in Mario Kart World, but personally, I like that there's not a lot done to it. It keeps it, you know, what it is. I would have rather it have been Mario Circuit 2, but Nintendo seems to really like this particular Mario Circuit. Apologies if you could hear that. I got popcorn from last night and I still haven't gotten through it all. I did this one during the warm-ups too. I actually have a bit of a gripe with this particular version of the track. Lap 2 feels completely unnecessary the way they do it. Like, it's novel, I suppose, but not really necessary. It's not the only track where they do something like that, like where they take a retro track and then they put some spin on it because they can. Like, just give us the track the way it was. The tour tracks are one thing, but like right here, this shit, I don't understand it. What's the point? I'm sure it's a reference to the fact that you could technically drive on the train tracks in Mario Kart 64 as well, but there was no reason to do that. Waluigi Pinball. My biggest gripe on the DLC was with this track. And I think I was one of the few people who had this gripe. They recycled music. The base game never did that. There was no recycled music in the base game. So, I didn't understand why they couldn't just do a whole new remix for this track. Instead, nah, we're just going to use the same remix we used in the base game for Wario Stadium. My same gripe for Coconut Mall as well goes here. I think this iteration might be just a little too vibrant. Not that this track was necessarily dull like Coconut Mall was. The colors for this track have always been a bit bright, but I think that they went a little too overboard with all the neon lighting and all that stuff here. I get it's meant to be a pinball machine, and pinball machines aren't exactly, you know, devoid of color and all that stuff, but boing. Ooh, that was close. Kaboing. Hey, Ludwig. Bye, Ludwig. I was too early to split, but whatever. Sydney Sprint. Another tour track. You know, I'm fortunate enough to have been to at least one of the cities that Mario Kart Tour did. I've been to Los Angeles, but other than that, I've not been to any of the cities that Mario Kart Tour did. Well, okay. There could possibly have been a possibility I've been to Berlin, but I wouldn't remember if I did. And that's only if my parents had to fly out of Berlin to get back to the States. Because I was actually born in Germany. Both my parents were in the army. But, you know. Ah. Boing. Boing. You know, a lot of people complained that the textures of the DLC looked a bit plasticky and wasn't near as nice as... But I kind of like the difference in style. It sets them apart. You know, you can tell the difference between DLC and base game just from the way the textures look. DLC is a lot more vibrant in its colors and stuff like that. Oh man. You know, it's funny because I hated the gameplay of Mario Kart Tour, but I loved all the tracks that they gave. So it was like really exciting to see them here in a capacity where I feel like they're actually at their best. Like, seriously, it is so great to have these tracks in a proper Mario Kart game where you can enjoy them. I did this one during my warm-ups. I like this track. This is a good track. I like it better here than I ever did in Super Circuit, but it's a good track. Whee! Did you know that the music to this is actually a modified version of Choco Mountain's music? Some people probably have never noticed it, but you know, I'm a music gal. I know that kind of stuff. I tend to know weird details about video game music most people wouldn't know. And yeah, this is basically a remix of Choco Mountain, which... Okay. It fits, but it's baffling. And it's especially funny because Choco Mountain's also a track in the DLC, so they're both here. Mushroom Gorge. I'm like, what's that say? Mushroom Gorge. Gotcha. I have some fun little personal trivia about this track. So, the first Mario Kart game I ever actually had immediate access to as a kid was Mario Kart 7. And this is one of the tracks that came back in Mario Kart 7. For some reason, I had to play this track on mute. Otherwise, I would just fall to my death. Like the music was so distracting that I had to play on mute. Once I had actually memorized the track, I was able to turn the sound back on. But as a kid, I had to mute the sound for this track because the music just distracted me. As an adult now, I look back at it and think, man, that must have been some serious skill issue because this track is not that hard. It's a Mushroom Cup track, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is a Mushroom Cup track. Mario Kart Wii's Mushroom Cup was Luigi Circuit, Moo Moo Meadows, Mushroom Gorge, and Toad's Factory. And Toad's Factory is the best track in Mario Kart Wii, and second favorite track in the entire series. So I was excited to see it come back in World. And they didn't do anything to it that, like they did with like Choco Mountain, where they tried to change its identity. I mean, I don't know what you would have done to Toad's Factory to change its identity. Heck yeah! Sky High Sunday. I was actually one of the people when this track came out that genuinely loved it. I like it better in Mario Kart World, but I genuinely liked this track when it came out. Honestly, it feels weird playing it in this dumbed down version versus the Mario Kart World version. Although I don't subscribe to the theory that it was built as a Mario Kart World track and then retroactively downgraded for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Mario Kart Tour. I think that that's just cope. I think people are just coping with the fact that the track was so much better in World, and, you know, when, in truth be told, they just didn't remember how good the track actually was. I mean, World's version is better, but it's not as different as people think it is. One of the big things World's version does fix is the janky camera angles, but I tried to do multiple tricks. Alright, I'm not gonna get in there that time. That's Sky High Sunday. One of my favorite tracks in the game. And I know that's a hot take, but I genuinely love Sky High Sundae. London. Alright. Look at that fucking mini-map. It's called London Loop. That don't look like a loop. Obviously, though, the naming convention of some of the tour tracks. Hey, Souls. Been a while. I remember my favorite was Speed Rate. Huh. Oh. Thanks. Where does a spinach eat its dinner? At the vegetable? Okay. Yeah, I will never get tired of you sending jokes in the streams. I'm going to be completely truthful. There are people who are better at this game than me. But I used to play this game religiously, so Mario Kart's actually my third favorite game franchise of all time. And I always specify Mario Kart, not Super Mario. Yeah, I took a break from it. I was gonna get to this a couple weeks ago, but I just was like, during my warm-ups, I just felt really drained for some reason. And I'm like, I don't know if I've got it in me to do all 48 tracks, especially with the tour tracks thrown in, because, you know, every lap, with the exception of Paris Promenade, every lap is different. So I love this track. I like it even better here, but of these, like, pier style tracks. Oh, fuck! That's alright. I'm back in the lead. Boing! I wish I had a mushroom, I'd take the shortcut, but I don't, so I'll just drive past it. I'm somewhat happy they did steer away from doing more of these haunted pier style tracks, because the first 3 Mario Kart games, all of the haunted tracks were that. You know, there was Ghost Valley 1, Ghost Valley 2, and Super Mario Kart, Banshee Boardwalk, and Mario Kart 64, and then Broken Pier, and this one, Boo Lake, in Super Circuit. So, you know, they had, for a good while, that's all they did was this sort of style for haunted tracks. And then Mario Kart DS comes around and they gave us Luigi's Mansion. And I was like, cool. I like that. And then this game had Twisted Mansion, and World had Boost Cinema, so they went more haunted house with the, or haunted movie theater for one case. And of every haunted track I've played, Boost Cinema is easily my favorite. It's simple, but it's so fun. Rock Mountain. I'm like, I see a lot of letters there. For you Europeans, it's called Alpine Pass apparently, but I'm American, so I'm calling it what it's called. Not sure why there were tracks that had different names. I love that addition there where you can just glide across like that, because I don't think it was possible to do that as effectively in Mario Kart 7. I know Mario Kart Wii had a handful of tracks that had different names in Europe, but Mario Kart 7 was like most notorious for it, having tracks that had different names. For seemingly no reason. Like, I can't tell you why they felt the need to call it something different outside of the United States. Like, you know, Music Park is Melody Motorway in Europe. This one is Alpine Pass. Woohoo Loop was just Woohoo Island. Maka Woohoo was Woohoo Mountain Loop. Like, I don't understand the point in changing the names. Those are the ones that I know off the top of my head. There might have been a couple that were different too. Oop! The CPU missed the pipe. I'm about to say, my game didn't just crash for no fucking reason, did it? Is this Maple Treeway? Yes, it is. They now have 3 tree-related tracks. This one's still the best one. Shit. Mario Kart World has, in my opinion, the worst one of these styles of tracks. Acorn Heights is fine, but it's a bit of a clusterfuck. And Wild Woods is good. It's just not near as visually striking as this one. Whee! Return of the Half Pipes! I was actually really happy to see the half pipes return, because the base game doesn't have any half pipes. So I'm like, are we going to get half pipes, or are they going to be absent like in Mario Kart 7? Nope, the half pipe's here. Because like Wario's Gold Mine had a half pipe. The half pipe was missing in Mario Kart 8's version. Granted, the half pipe in Wario's Gold Mine is kind of pointless, but it's still like they had the technology to bring the half pipes back and they didn't. Oh man, I missed my trick. Oh well. Because half pipes were a very Mario Kart Wii thing. Mario Kart World has half pipes too, actually. I don't know if it's as common in their tracks, but there were some spots where there are like half pipes in the open world. I have a clip of myself just going absolutely ham wild on the half pipe by Wario Stadium. I was just going completely nuts. Like, I spent a good, like, 5 minutes, I think, just doing tricks on the half pipe, because it was so much fun. Especially with Mario Kart World's multiple trick mechanic, where you could do multiple tricks while you're in the air. Tour something, I think. Yeah! My favorite tour track. Down, down, bum 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 bum, bum bum, dun 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 da 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 dum bum, bum bum, bum bum, bum, do 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 do, ba 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 ba. Ba 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 da 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 da. If you couldn't tell what one of my favorite parts of this track was. The music is so good. It's got like this kind of electronic techno spit to start, and then it transitions into what I called a military orchestra. Or like military marching band sort of thing. So it sounded very much like a military marching home kind of thing. And it's like, how do you combine electronic music with orchestral music so flawlessly? Those two should never be able to combine, and yet, boom. Perfectly transitioned into one another. Let's see if I can do it. Probably not. Nope. I failed. If I had gotten the trick, maybe I would have landed it. I don't know if you need a mushroom to do it. Initially, Lakitu would pick you up, and then TWD98 or Troy made a short, like, come on, Nintendo, let us have a little fun. And by the next update, they had actually allowed you to do it. So Nintendo actually listened during this DLC for the most part. So there were some things they didn't change despite the criticism. Oh, I mentioned earlier with Calamari Desert that there's decisions they made with some tracks that I didn't like. This is another one that did that. I love this track, but they did something with it that I don't agree with. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's one of those, like, this track is not broken. There was no reason to change anything about it. Like, if ever there was a track that was fittingly Princess Peach, it was this one. The Piranha Plant's new. I don't mind the Piranha Plant. I think I think it looks nice. It fits the garden thing. Monty moles work differently than they did before. But that's just so you could trick off of them. I get it. Lap 3 is where the change comes in, and I wasn't a fan of it. It does the same thing Paris Promenade does, but the difference is Paris Promenade had a reverse version in Tour. I don't know if this one did. When I first saw the pink arrows here, I'm like, oh, don't tell me they're going to do something funky with this track. And they did. There is no reason that we need to do this, but whatever. And now I'm going on the track backwards. I mean, at least they made it possible to drive the track backwards by adding this on lap 3. You know, I really wish that Souls wouldn't do the whole lurking thing, because it affects my views. I appreciate them showing up, but, like, they tend to come in for a little bit and then lurk, and it doesn't count as a view, so it drops them as a viewer, and I'm trying to get affiliated, and I need to have a 3-viewer average. I average 2 viewers typically. I just fucked up. This was the first track I did during my warm-up. I should not have just screwed that up. Of all the holidays to get a track, of course it was Christmas. Whatever. I guarantee you the half pipe was not in Tour. I was absolutely added here. Oh, fuck. I somewhat burnt myself out on this track because I played this track several times back in December. It just felt appropriate to play it a couple times during that month, and I think I played it like 4 or 5 times. Either way, one of my favorite tracks ever is showing up next, so This will mark the halfway point. I'm at 1 hour. Boom. Nailed it. And I won't need to do that again because this is a 1-lap track. Technically, Saturn's rings are not solid like that, but whatever. Aww. Rainbow Road. Alright. That's good to go. Alright. Now we're halfway through. Amsterdam Drift. I actually played this one during my warm-ups. I think it was one of the last ones I did. This part has always been so visually striking to me. I love this part. Done. Riverside Park. Alright, lap 3. My bank just messaged me. What the hell? I'll check that later. Alright, DK Summit. Pretty straightforward track. Ow. I'm expecting the second half of tracks for some reason to go by faster. Not sure why. I probably will just end the stream when I finish this instead of doing the whole 4-hour thing. And it's done. I'm tired. Already. Doing 48 tracks is really grinds on me. Yoshi's Island. Here we go. I consider this a crossover track. I think their intent was for it to be like a crossover track. I missed it. Oh, come on. Yeah, I think I am going to end it after I finish the speed run because I do actually have something I need to get done today. I've been kind of putting it off. Someone already activated it. Nice. Yeah, I got an update for the Linkle of the Sky mod for Skyward Sword I've been working on with someone else that I need to push today. So I think once I finish this stream... Oh, forgot to split. I did this one during my warm-up, so I'm familiar enough with this one. Not sure why this takes me through a parking garage, but it does. If I actually get under 2 hours, I will not be in last place. I'm not counting on it, but if I did, I wouldn't be in last place. Here we are, DS Mario Circuit. Probably the best Mario Circuit we ever got. Alright, final lap of this track. Ha! Ludwig got hit. The Wiggler should be awake now, so I'll have to be careful of him. Boing, bong. I lapped almost everybody on that one. Holy shit. Waluigi Stadium. Alright. Do. See if I can get up on this one too. Yes. Ah, I had too much speed and it knocked me off. Oh well. Did it again. Oh well. Singapore. Yeah. Kaboom! I finished Singapore. Okay. Anyway. Athens Dash. Some people really did not like this track because the background elements were low poly. Like, grow the fuck up. Alright. That's Athens. Daisy Cruiser. There we go. That's what I meant to do last time. Alright, we are done with Daisy Cruiser. I split too early, but whatever. Oh, right. Moonview Highway. I forgot they brought this one back. Never been a big fan of this track. It's more tolerable here, but definitely not the biggest Moonview Highway fan. And I fell. The cars don't go near as fast in the last section, and there's not near as many of them, so they definitely made this track better. Squeaky clean sprint. Alright. I don't know how high they were when they came up with this track, but I dig it. Alright, that's squeaky clean sprint. Done. Los Angeles laps. This is the only city tour did that I've actually been to. Whoop. Hit the side stepper. I just realized the coins are shaped like a baseball there. That's pretty cool. I believe that was supposed to be Rodeo Drive. And this part I don't really understand why we're in an oil field. Sunset Wilds. Alright, this is the track I mentioned earlier. My favorite Super Circuit track that a lot of people were upset with because it cut out a turn, and also because the sunset doesn't change every lap, which is fine, I suppose. It's whatever. I wish it did. That was the coolest part of the track, but it's at least set to sunset, so I'm like, that's a fair enough compromise. At least have it be sunset. I wonder why they have you specify if it's digital or cartridge. Like, what does that matter? Is there like an advantage for having the cartridge version of the game? Because I'm playing on cartridge, but I'm like, is there like an advantage or something? Alright. Koopa Cape. Whoops. I'm definitely not gonna get sub 2 hours. I'm definitely gonna get sub 3 hours though, at least, which was my goal. Vancouver. Ah. Alright, last lap. Alright, I got 8 more tracks to go, and then I'm done. So I'm getting close. Rome Avanti. I forgot to split. Alright, now I split. Boing! My sister's actually been to the Colosseum in Rome on her honeymoon. Lucky little shit. GCN DK Mountain. Okay. Alright, that's... Piranha Plant Cove. 44. 4 more after this one. Hey, sunken ship. My home. Did I miss one on my splits? No, I didn't. It's just showing Wii Rainbow Road last. I'm like... It's weird. Anyway, Madrid Drive. This is the last tour track. All right. Yeah, I didn't forget it. It just didn't show up until just now. All right. I got my splits perfect on the live split. All right, Rosalina's Ice World. Never been like blown away by this track, but I don't hate it. Alright, I hit the 2-hour mark. Which means I'm probably going to end up having a time worse than everyone else on the leaderboard, but I don't really care. Alright, second to last track, and then I'm going to... Oh boy. Yeah, I'm starting to lose steam. Fuck. Alright. Last track. Alright. Almost done with the final lap. Time! All right. All right. I am done.